You're listening to the Journey Podcast, a ministry of Southcrest Baptist Church. We're here to know the Word, love the Word, and live the Word. Let's take a joyous journey through the Word.
Yeah, it's Tate and Teagan. Yeah, we're gonna. I don't know. I'm so bad at rapping. Wait, it should have been Teagan and Tate. Yeah, we're on the podcast today. We are so great. Hey.
What if we did like,
Mm.
we're TNT.
Dynamite. TNT.
We'll not fight. Okay,
Another word.
scratch.
Anyways, hey guys, I feel sorry that you had to sit through the first 30 seconds of every podcast that we're on because it's just total awkwardness.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry.
it's who we are at our
It
core.
is who we are. So,
Man.
Being authentic.
Genuine. Genuine. I don't know. Maybe it can pick up on camera, but I got a little toasted.
Neat. Can you see my face right now? See the glare on my skin?
I think I applied aloe vera probably 10 times last night, and I felt sticky in my bed, and I was like, ugh.
I'm like, I pulled out my full body lotion for like the first time in a long time. Okay, don't judge me.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I was just like.
I hate the way that my hands feel after lotion. Like they're all greasy.
I have to wipe it down.
I can't do it.
Now. I don't like it.
It's grease central on my hands. But we went to a softball game.
Got a little bit burnt to
it was so much fun.
It was so much fun. They're so good.
See, y'all, I've stood by this. I grew up watching softball because our girls' athletics in high school was just better than the guys. So our town naturally just like hyped up the girls a little bit more. And it helped because I had a classmate, her name's Lolly, and she was like
really good
pitching mid upper 60s since freshman year, and so she's just striking all these 2A hitters, and like they went to state and all this stuff. So I grew to love softball, and I mean you got Nigel Kennedy throwing who knows how fast in the circle,
and really good.
They're really good. They hit 8 home runs. We saw them set up a program record. It was like and then they had a home run derby after, but I'm like, they already had the home run derby.
Yeah, and it was during the game.
It was insane.
Yeah.
It was really entertaining. Y'all should go to the softball game.
It's almost like, it's kind of like they're so good. Like but it's so easy for them. It's almost like, yeah, well, naturally they're going to hit 8 home runs.
Yeah.
But it's like, you don't really realize how hard that actually is. They just make it look so easy.
They make it look so extremely easy, yeah. And to be fair, they were playing like...
No, UNT is like a valid...
Yeah, they're D1.
They're valid softball program.
So, I don't know.
It was fun.
I've always said if you want to go for the vibes and you want to sit there and maybe...
Eat a
hot dog, or maybe do some homework, go to a baseball game.
Yeah.
No offense to our baseball team, because I know that they listen to this podcast. But I mean, they're not.
They're on like
they're on a streak. They're on a streak. They're doing better. But
we got Nigel.
They're not 8 home runs a game.
Nah.
So if you want action packed and you want to be standing up, sitting down, cheering, singing the Matador song, go to a softball game.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
And they're faster. They're not as long as baseball games.
So you just roll everybody. Right. But today, what are we talking about, Teagan?
We are doing another topical podcast, and our topic today is spiritual discipline.
Ooh, everyone's favorite.
Ooh. It goes crazy.
So for those who don't know, spiritual disciplines are intentional habits that help us grow closer to the Lord. So would you read 1 Timothy 4:7-8?
Yeah. It says, verse 7 says, "Have nothing to do with godless myths and old wives' tales. Rather, train yourself to be godly. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come." And I feel like that's kind of like the verse for spiritual disciplines, like kind of the heart behind them, I would say.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like can naturally lead into like works,
Mm.
like stuff like that. But I think spiritual disciplines aren't about like earning salvation, because no matter how much you pray or no matter how much you fast or how much you give, that's not going to earn your way to heaven, But it's about, like you said, the heart posture behind it. And it's like setting ourselves up for getting closer to the Lord and being in a position to be sanctified and transformed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And I feel like it's very helpful to like have practical ways
Mm-hmm.
in order like to set ourselves up for
Mhm.
that. And so I feel like this is like as a college kid and as a person that's like trying to pursue the Lord and do it in a way that's like they know will be that they know that's right. Spiritual disciplines are where it's at,
Mm-hmm.
They're good and true, old faithfuls.
Well, the ones we're going to focus on today are prayer, generosity, solitude, and the Sabbath. And so, kind of like how our like last few topical ones have been, we're just going to ask some common questions that we feel like college students might ask about certain areas. So we're going to kick it off with prayer, everyone's old faithful. So Teagan, what does your prayer life look like?
I feel like throughout my day, I've been trying to leave my music off in my car and that kind of be my time to where like because sometimes I feel like it's not very natural for us to just pray unwarranted. You know what I mean? And so at least that's been my experience. It's like there are times where it's like, oh, I know that was the Lord. Like, and that's like, I'm like, oh, like you are awesome. Thank you so much, God. Like, I know that was you. Thank you for being here. But then there's like moments where you're just sitting in your car and you're like just driving to school and it's like, oh, I don't, and I'm not just
Yeah.
having the greatest desire to talk to God, but it's like that has been my time where I'm like, okay, what do I need to bring to God? What's on my mind? And so I feel like it's just been like throughout the day, it's like when I'm in my car and I'm just like talking to him about maybe what I'm feeling, what's going on in my life, what I'm learning about, just kind of the little things. But then in my like quiet time, I get to really focus on like what I just read or what he's like, and then just let it be something that it's like, okay, I'm in your word. I'm learning more about you. What do you want me to see?
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's good. Yeah, I think for me too, like I've tried in the past to be like, at 7 a.m. I'm going to wake up and the first thing I do is pray. And how it works for me, it works for some people. It can often become like a checklist type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you, like I'd rather be doing something and be like, oh, I haven't prayed today. Like I need to talk to the Lord, or I'm going through something and I'd rather intentionally use that time. Like you said, like having your music off and like you're setting yourself up to, well, I don't want to sit in silence. So I'm going to talk to the Lord because I can,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think for me, prayer is something that I've always kind of struggled with and I'm trying to get better at it. But like anything practical helps me. I made an order on Amazon for some sticky notes.
Come on.
And I'm going to make a prayer wall in my room.
Yeah.
Just so that I can have a physical reminder that, I have requests and, if something gets answered, I get to take it off and then praise the Lord about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's what mine looks like at the moment. It's not too great.
Yeah.
I forget some days. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be better at it.
Yeah.
Next question. Is it bad that my mind wanders every time I try to pray?
And back home, I had a mentor, and this was a question that I asked a bunch because I'm like, ADHD. Okay, I'm going everywhere. And she met me she was so gentle and kind about it, but this was the advice that she gave me. This is kind of how she spoke about it. And she was like, and then I would be like, oh, I pray before I go to bed. Like, is it bad that I fall asleep while I pray? And I was like, I feel so guilty.
Dear
I
Lord,
fell asleep when I was yeah. And so it was kind of that was kind of the conversation that we were having. And she was like, well, I think sometimes when your mind wanders when you're with the Lord, sometimes that's what you need to talk about with him. You know what I mean? Like if your mind is naturally going towards that place and it's on your mind frequently, like, you need to talk about that with
Mhm.
God, you know? It's like, and so I feel like it's not a bad thing, but, like, I wouldn't just be like, "Oh, I'm distracted, I need to come back." It's like, that's something to kind of take into consideration. It's like, "Oh, have I talked about that with
Mhm.
him?" You know, it's like, not just, like, ignoring it, but kind of bringing it into the conversation. And
Mhm.
I guess kind of, since I already said it, like, falling asleep while you talk to God, it's like, she said, "Well, imagine God's character, like, you're talking to him and you fall asleep." He's like, he doesn't mind. You know,
Mhm.
it's like, how cute. That's what I thought. Like, she
Me,
was
me, 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 me,
comfortable
me.
enough to, like, talk to me, and like, my presence, like, was comforting enough to, like, she fell asleep, you know?
Mhm.
So it was just like, I feel like it's easy to chastise ourselves over that, but it's like,
Mhm. Yeah. No, yeah, I think too, like, we're called to take every thought captive,
yeah,
you know? And so I think definitely, man, I'm so guilty, and I think a lot of people are guilty of not utilizing the Holy Spirit enough.
yeah,
Um, and Ryan kind of talked about it in a home group the other night. Like, he's called the helper for a reason, and that's one of the big reasons why Jesus had to go, so that we could have the helper, that we could have his spirit in us. And so I think what I often do in times when my mind wanders, that is a good advice though, like wherever it wanders to, like bring that to the Lord. But I often find myself like asking the Spirit, like clear my mind,
right?
like I don't know why this thought popped in my head. God, this is not of you. Take it away.
Yeah.
And it normally, shocker, goes away.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I tend to do, and I don't think it's a bad thing that your mind wanders when you pray, but I wouldn't I
Like,
wouldn't say like,
that be a constant
yeah,
thing.
yeah, I wouldn't let it be a constant thing.
Yeah.
Like if your brain wanders and it causes you to just like to stop praying, I'd be like, oh, and I'm like, there's something to be worked on there.
Yeah.
And so,
Hmm.
yeah, I would say either if your brain and mind wanders during your prayer, bring that to the Lord, or take it captive via the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's like for me, just being in my mind, like since I am ADHD, and sometimes it's just like sometimes when I get caught in a spell of like, oh, I'm not taking it captive, or I'm not taking it and bringing it into my conversation with God, like I like when I'm in that like rut of doing that consistently, like I bring out my prayer journal and I write it down.
Mm,
And like when I'm writing down, like my brain doesn't wander
mm.
as much. Like I'm not saying it's like a
I'm thinking about what to write
well,
next instead of,
yeah.
yeah.
Like cuz like you're active, like your hand is moving, so it's like, you know what I mean? And so like if that is something like you have a really hard time controlling, and like I would say get a prayer journal and be a
Hmm.
writer downer prayer. Or
I'm just not a journaler. I want to be so bad, but I'm
yeah,
just not,
yeah,
and that's okay.
that is okay.
Everybody's different. Let's move on to generosity. This is a big one for college students. So, Tegan, do you think generosity only counts if it's money?
No,
No. Wait, go again. No.
And I feel like we recently had a meeting about stewardship,
Oh
which
yeah, we
I feel
did.
like goes hand in hand.
Hmm.
While is it very important to be generous with your money? Yes. Is that an indicator of your heart condition? Yes.
Hmm.
But I think sometimes like we are so focused on being generous with our money. And it's like, man, I have $5 in my bank account right now. That's not giving me much to
Hmm.
be generous with, like as a college student. There are other areas to where we can be generous. Like we can be generous with our time, we can be generous with our space, we can be generous with our energy, with our priorities. Um, I don't know. I think like with our words, with our actions, all of those things. And I think it's important that like our generosity isn't just catered towards one area,
Hmm.
you know? So that's kind of what I would say.
Oh, that's good. Um, I I love being able to like provide a meal for someone.
Oh, huh?
You know, that's like low key my love language.
Uh-huh.
It's like I love buying people food. And then you're like, "What's your Venmo?" I'm like, "No, I don't know. What is my Venmo?" You know? But I love doing that, and also too like you said, like I think if you are convicted to, you know, give with your finances as a college student, do it.
Do it, yeah.
I think also too, and I was pushed by my mentor about this recently.
Me too.
If you're not quote unquote convicted about it,
You
you need to give.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And don't think that, you know, I got $20 in my bank account. What is $5 going to do? It's not about the amount. We see, you know, the widow give a mere penny,
Mhm.
and Jesus says that she gives more because she gave out of her poverty rather than
Yeah.
out of her abundance, you know? And so I think too, it's like if you do give and it's $5-10,
That's
you
still
only
given.
that's still given. No one else has to know that you give that much.
Mhm.
And it's your heart posture behind it. It's like
Yeah.
I may be, you know, wondering where my next meal is going to come from, but
I know the Lord
I
will
know the
make
Lord will provide. I know the Lord will provide. But yeah.
But I feel like Tyler is kind of, because we've kind of talked to Tyler about it, and he's like,
Yeah.
his advice is like, you're never gonna have more money. You know what I mean? Like when you get married, then you have a house and you have your own bills to pay,
And you got
and then you get
kids.
kids, and
Oof.
they want a snack and they want a drink
Mhm.
and they want those no shoes,
Uh-huh.
you know, and it's just like, and so he's like, if you build the habit now, like you'll have it later. Like
Mhm.
you're never gonna have just like a crazy abundance of money. Like you're always gonna want to have more.
Mhm.
Like make sure like start the habit and the discipline now.
Mhm.
Which I think is really, which we're gonna do it. Gosh darn it, let's do it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would say like I kind of how you like to do your meals. Like I think that's why I love hosting so much is like I get to be generous with my space. I get to be generous with my time, and I get to be generous like with my effort because like cooking a meal, like you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It like for me it's like that it keeps me humble because it's like I get to
Mhm.
be generous with multiple aspects. So I would kind of to build off of you.
Yeah.
Just to give some examples of, I guess, what generosity in other means instead of just tithing
Mhm.
could kind of look like.
Yeah. That's good. Why do you think it's harder to give up our money rather than our time, Tegan?
Well, because here's the thing, Tate. I want clothes. And I love good food.
Mhm.
And I want that. You
Mm.
know what I mean? I want that. And so it's like, man, where I don't like know where my money is going, like I don't get to choose where my money that I worked for gets to go. I don't like it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I know that I got these pants yesterday. Sorry. But like I know that my $32 went towards these pants. Is that the most fruitful purchase I've ever had? No, but I know where it is, and these
Mhm.
are what I wanted. And so I feel like when we let loose of like where our money goes, like when we do tithe and we give it to the church, like that, like we give through the church and they get to use it as like one united, like
Mhm.
all the tithes added together. That's like a big sum, and they get to steward that like wherever God chooses, you know?
Mhm.
And so I think it's just like I think it's a control thing. I think it's a selfish thing. I think it's a pride thing. But it is hard because I think
Yeah.
like time we're already like going to be spending our time doing something else. It doesn't like we're not working hard for our time. Like it's already like you know what I mean?
I'm just passing.
Time's just passing. But like for our money, like we work for it and it's our means of getting things that we want.
Mhm.
And I think it's just like the pride and the
Yeah.
selfish thing kind of coming together.
No, for sure.
know?
I think also too, like as college students, there's I don't want to say this without sound too awful, but like it's like there's almost like a competition to like who's who has the least amount of money.
Yeah.
You feel that?
Yeah, I
Okay,
feel that.
I'm not alone in this. And it's like, I think we like to, I don't know, like want to gain like pity
Mm-hmm.
because we're like, oh, I'm a little broke college student. And I'm
Right.
like, we all are, like we all are, whether we like to admit it or not. And so, and two, like we're in a stage where like we're thinking about a career, we're thinking about jobs, we're thinking about possibly providing for a family one day. We're thinking about all these like future things, and low-key money is at the center of all those
Yeah,
most of the times. And so I think it's just, and things aren't getting cheaper either.
Yeah.
So like people value their money. I value my money. You value your money. And so that's what makes it so cool to say that I'm giving this portion of something that I selfishly value so much, and I'm giving it
Right.
to the church so that they can use it and steward it the way God sees fit.
Yeah.
And that's what makes generosity and tithing so special,
Yeah. And I think it's like the mindset of like, it's mine.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is it? It was.
But it's like, nothing here, like, it's not ours. Our third spiritual discipline is solitude. Now, this morning when we were because there's a bunch of spiritual disciplines, we wanted to be very specific with the ones that we chose, because we can't get to there's a bunch.
Yeah, there is a bunch of.
And so solitude, is solitude the same as isolation?
I would say no. I think when I think isolation, I think it's just me. I'm not even putting the energy to even allow anything or anyone to come into contact with me. I think isolation, I'm thinking peak bed rot, scrolling on my phone, that's isolating. But solitude, I think, is you're alone, but making an effort to do something alone, And so in the discipline of solitude, it's like, obviously in scripture, we see Jesus multiple times, like go off by himself and pray, or go off by himself and meet with his Father. And then we're called to do the same thing. Because again, I need to be better at scripture memorization, but it's like what your Father sees in secret, he will like reward, or something like that. Right? Sure.
Yeah.
It's in there somewhere, I promise.
Or the ideas.
The idea, yeah. But like, find the Christianese word, the secret place, or the hiding place, I guess that's what some people call it. But it's basically just saying, just disconnect from anything that might distract you. Put your phone in another room.
Yeah.
And just spend time with the Lord. That's what I think solitude is. And it's just like making an effort to be like, hey, God, I've got, assignments that are due. I've got to be at work in an hour. I've got people blowing my phone up. But hey, I'm going to put those aside, and I'm going to be just me and you for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's what peak solitude is.
Yeah.
So I would say no, it's not the same thing as isolation.
Yeah. And I would say the reason, a big chunk of why we chose solitude as one, I was like, I don't know if I can speak much into solitude. I don't think, but it was because
It sounded like Teagan doesn't have quiet time.
Yeah, Teagan was like, you've never had a quiet time.
I was like, I hope you know a lot about solitude.
And it was because I had like the image in my head was like, I have to go far away. I have to be by myself, and there has to be like no noise, and I'm just like by myself. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of what warranted like is solitude the same as isolation? And it was just like, Tate was like, no, it's just like, and I was like, oh, we've got to talk about this. I'm like, I can't be the only one that has a misconception.
It was so funny.
It was pretty funny. And so, well, I guess kind of going along with that idea and kind of what if solitude is not the same as isolation, then what do we do in solitude? And so what if I don't like when we do go into solitude, what if I don't like what comes up when I'm alone with my thoughts? When it's just you.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, this is me to a peak, because I'm kind of one of those people that my brain gets to thinking on something. It just starts thinking and won't stop. And then, oh, look, I'm in a spiral, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think kind of like how we talked about earlier, like whatever comes up in our solitude, that's obviously an invitation by the Lord, by the Spirit. Like He's stirring our heart to think about something. And I think lean into that a little bit, you know, and if it makes you uncomfortable, guess what? We're called to be uncomfortable and we're called to, you know, address our problems. And even from background information, I have my bachelor's degree in psychology.
Come
And
on.
whenever we tend to throw off like problems or just bury them deep down, guess what? They're going to come back up and they're going to be probably 5 times worse than what we originally thought that they were. And so we're called to, you know, be in solitude, and whatever comes up during that time with you and the Lord, that's between you and the Lord, you know, like hash it out with Him. Use that time to your advantage to, if you're intentional with that time. Sure. I don't want to say get as much done. That doesn't sound right, but it's like, you get what I'm saying? Like
Squeeze like
yeah, like
as
squeeze,
much out of
yeah,
the time as
get as much out of it, you know? And if it keeps getting brought up and it keeps being on your heart, yeah, lean into it. Ask the Lord, like, what do you want me to do with this issue? Or what do you want me to do in this situation? And just listen. I think, too, a big part of solitude is not just like reading your Bible and like, God, you're so good in Deuteronomy 1. Like, this is so good. It's like, what do you want to tell me, Lord?
Yeah.
And just sitting. And like, most people pair solitude with silence, like silence and solitude. Too, it's like, get away, be silent, try and see what the Lord is trying to tell you, be in His Word.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. And I feel like
it's not a bad thing if you don't like what comes up. It's like,
no, yeah. And I mean, I feel like a lot of the times, like throughout the day, like we're like running kind of like from what's on our mind and kind of like from things that we don't want to deal with. And like the second that we sit down with the Lord, like the Lord like wants us to confront. Like he doesn't want it to be like passive or like you kind of like busying yourself in an effort not to like confront this thing that is on your mind that you don't like. And I think like when you are in solitude and you do slow down and you think about things, like God doesn't want us running away from things. Like He's like, okay, now that you're with me, let's take this on. Like, let's wrestle. We really have a God that's like, I can handle your questions. Like, I can handle your that like you don't like me right now. I can handle your anger. I can handle your big emotions, but bring them to me. Like let's confront it. Let's wrestle. Let's like I know when we did practicing the way, like a big thing was like acknowledging those feelings and bringing them to God, like not just like naming these things. And I think in solitude and like when we finally slow down and spend time with God and like think of these things and they they come to your mind, I'm like, that is the place. Like if it is on your mind, it's kind of like rolling around in there, kind of taking your taking your mind captive, you know? And it's like, no, if we take our thoughts captive, give it to God. So I really, really did like that question because I feel like, I mean, everybody kind of has that moment of like when they slow down, they're like, everything hits you like a truck, you know?
Yeah, we try and run faster than our problems.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, last one. We're gonna talk about the Sabbath. And I feel like not a lot of people, myself included, practice this one. Sabbath basically, it's like not doing nothing, but it's like taking a break, focusing on the Lord for a day.
Yeah.
But first question, is taking a day off even realistic as a college student?
I would say like taking a day that's like from 8 to 10, not realistic for us. You know what I mean? And I've had a conversation with Tyler, and it was like his family does a Sabbath. I don't know if they still do like this particular setup. because it was a while back, but it was like okay, he gets off of work Friday night, and that's the start of the Sabbath, and then it's until Saturday at some point in time. I think we can be like, there are points in our schedule to where like we can allot our time to like be dedicated to that, but I don't think it's in the day of like Sunday from like all day Sunday. I feel like we kind of have to be some more specific, I guess, in the way like we do it. And it's just like, okay, well, from Thursday night, which it wouldn't be Thursday night for me, it'd probably be like a Friday to Saturday kind of thing for me. But it was like, okay, I'm not gonna like be on my phone. Like, I'm gonna prepare beforehand. I'm gonna tell people, hey, I'm not gonna be on my phone. If we have plans, like, come pick me up at 10. And don't text me because I'm not going to be answered. You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't have to be like you don't do anything, like you don't have like hang out with people. But it's like this, I'm being intentional of like, I'm filling up my cup. I'm spending time with the Lord. And I'm doing things that like aren't just like draining every ounce of, does that make sense?
Yeah. And I would push back on that. Like, I would say, I'd push back on the, like, is it realistic?
Really?
Yeah.
I think it can still be 24 hours. I don't think it has to be like 8 to.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Like it doesn't. It doesn't have to. It can still be a full day. It just doesn't have to be like
from morning to
from morning
I
to
see,
night.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, then never mind.
Was that not clear?
No.
I was like,
no.
I think it can still be the same amount of time. I think with our schedules, we can't do like we have class, we have, you know what I mean? And like since we work at the church, like we can't really do Sundays. You know what I mean? Like we have a lot of meetings and we do stuff like maybe a Saturday, but then we just have random stuff. I feel like we can designate a certain amount of time. It just doesn't. It's usually not very practical for us to do it.
Okay.
Like during daytime. Does that make sense?
Right. No, that was good. Okay, last little point. Is doing nothing truly restful or just a distraction?
Just a distraction. I think it's like active rest is very much a thing. A Sabbath isn't just like an excuse to be lazy. Like you can still be very productive during a Sabbath, but not like in like a works kind of like working kind of thing. Like you can, like Kat said that her active rest is like mowing her yard, which
I would say for me it's cleaning.
Yeah. Or like for me it's like cooking, and it's like that's an active rest. That's me not like laying in bed all day.
No, that's good.
What else do you have?
I think too, like in days where I'm like, I just need a day off. My first instinct is just to be like, sleep until 10:30, go get a bite to eat, come back, be on my phone for like 4 hours, be on my phone for maybe 6 hours. And I'm like, no, that's not. Ultimately, that's just me being lazy, like you said. Like the days, like a lot of my Sundays look like, waking up, going to church, coming home, and like getting some stuff done. And like I wouldn't, and I'm not like intentionally being like Sundays are my Sabbath. It's just like kind of a routine type of thing.
Yeah.
And like my Sundays are truly restful. Like I love getting to, do laundry on only, which is funny, only on a Sunday. If it's any other day of the week, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to clean. But on a Sunday, something about it. Lord, just, I don't know.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know. I think it's like, I think Sabbath kind of gets not a bad rap, but it's like people tiptoe around it,
Well, it's like, it's almost like a tier list. Obviously, prayer should be like a good one.
Yeah.
Generosity is probably up there.
Daily.
And Sabbath is like, we're just not going to talk about that one.
Yeah.
But that's good.
It's important.
As we leave today, ask good questions and live in the uncomfortable so that we learn to trust the Bible and know God more deeply. You're sent.